So thank you everyone for joining us this evening for an information session on prospective club sponsors, mentors, and coaches. My name is Catherine Sekundiak. I am the Program Quality Director this year for District 42 for the 2017-2018 year, and I'll be co-presenting the information session and facilitating the discussion with Shadna Rana, our club sponsor, mentor, and coach officer for District 42. I'll run over the agenda. We will be talking this evening about objectives, uh, what we hope you will get out of this session this evening, and part of that will be explaining the roles in a nutshell. So what is a club sponsor, mentor, and what is a club coach? And a few of the topics we will be addressing is the timing or when those roles happen or when they're appointed. Talk a little bit about the appointment process, the roles and responsibilities for each of those three roles, and also talk about the support that's available to you as a club sponsor, mentor, or coach in District 42 this year. And then we'll talk about next steps, and there will be an opportunity at the end to answer any questions that you might have. We'll move ahead to the objectives. The objectives that we are striving for this evening in this webinar is to inform you about the differences between the three roles and also to inform you about how valuable these roles are in the Toastmasters program. We'll also have an opportunity to answer any of your questions, any of your misunderstandings or misconceptions. Along the way, if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to interrupt, and we'll maybe stop and take a few minutes to see if anybody has any questions. There's also a chat window on the side. If you click the conversation bubble, it will pop up a chat window and you are able to enter any questions that you have there, and we'll try to get to those throughout the webinar. We also one of our objectives is also to support, and we want you to know that as a club sponsor, mentor, or coach, that you are not alone, that you have people available, materials, resources, and people to support you along the way. Now, the club sponsor, mentor, coach, the roles in a nutshell. This is just a high-level look at what are these three roles and where do they fall in the life of a Toastmasters club. And we'll start off with the growth or development of a new club. The club sponsors and club mentors are involved in developing new clubs, where a club coach is appointed or provided to help support clubs that are struggling. So let's talk about the prospective club or the development of a new club. Now, leads or opportunities for new clubs or to grow new clubs in our Toastmasters community can come from anywhere. Perhaps there might be opportunities in your community, say your local neighborhood or other venues, or perhaps in your organization, at your work, or any other organization that you participate with. Also, possibly special interest groups might be interested in exploring the opportunities of the Toastmasters program. The district team, the District 42 team, as well as all districts across the world, will also receive leads from world headquarters. And those are folks that go to the Toastmasters International website, www.toastmasters.org, and indicate on there, click some links that say, hey, I'm interested in learning more about the Toastmasters program and bringing it to my community or bringing it to my organization. We do also have an extensive team this year in District 42 who are out trying to look for opportunities for growing new clubs in our communities. And so new leads can come from that. Now, the club sponsor helps establish that new club or a prospective club, whether they have leads or they're provided with the leads, and help establish and set up the club. And we'll get into more of the roles and responsibilities a little later. But once the club has potential, has reached that magic 20 members number, then the club is ready to be chartered. And that's where the club mentors come in to really help the club get functional, help establish the processes and set up the club executive, and help them get off on the right foot, learn and understand the program and how to organize and administer the club, and make sure that they are ready to go to have an awesome experience. All their members have an awesome experience in Toastmasters. Now, the club coach comes in, is appointed, and works with clubs who are at 12 or fewer members. And they help grow the club and establish the club and help the executive grow towards becoming a distinguished club. So once again, the club sponsor and the club mentor help set up new clubs, and the club coach is there to provide support for clubs with 12 or fewer members. I'll get started talking a little bit about the club sponsor, and here I'm going to ask some questions of the audience. Again, if you can unmute yourself using the microphone at the bottom of your screen if you're online, or pressing *6 on your telephone. Why would someone sponsor a club? Why does somebody sponsor a club? Anybody have any thoughts on that?
For experience, to get leadership experience.
Leadership experience, yep. Orbal, do you have any?
To increase the number of clubs in the city.
Oh, hello, Nasli. Increase the number of clubs in the city?
Yeah.
Orbal?
I was saying it is a requirement for one of the leadership awards, advancing yourself. So that would be another opportunity for you to get credit for that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. This is a great opportunity for leadership experience. It gets us an opportunity to increase the number of clubs or increase the exposure of Toastmasters, and just be able to get the program out to many people throughout our community. And as well, it's a new learning experience as well. And as Orbal mentioned, it is a requirement for the Advanced Leader Silver Award. Now, there are many benefits of chartering a new club. Enhance your leadership skills, develop project management skills and abilities, as well as expand your marketing expertise. For me personally, I have been a club sponsor before. I was involved in sponsoring a new club here at the City of Regina a few years back, and I know what pride there is in being a part of that history of the club. They're a strong club now. They are active in the Toastmasters leadership community and our Southern Saskatchewan Toastmasters, and I love going and visiting them and seeing over the years how they've grown and developed, and all the leaders that are developing there. We'll now move on to the appointment of a club sponsor. The names of up to 2 new club sponsors must appear on the application to organize sent to World Headquarters. And we'll talk a little bit more about that process in a little bit. But I just want you to be aware that there is an appointment process. So you do need to work with the district, with the district director or the club growth director to appoint be appointed as a sponsor. So the club growth director will let Toastmasters International know, again, either through the application to organize or by following up with an email to Toastmasters International. Once you are involved with the club and working with the club, you will need to get the new club's president to sign and return a Get Credit form to World Headquarters. That's the final step to ensure that you get the credit for your sponsorship. Now the club sponsors, and of course, through the appointment process, there is support from the district there to help you through that process, and we'll go over what support is available in just a little bit. Now the club sponsor's responsibility, first and foremost, is to organize the new club. Start and set up regular club meetings. So a sponsor, as an experienced Toastmaster or somebody who's knows how the club runs, helps the new club set up their regular club meetings. Helps them conduct business meetings, to help set up the club executive, go through the election process, and make sure the club executives are trained either by attending a district-sponsored training event, if there is one available at that time, or by working with the district to provide training to them. The sponsor also completes the paperwork and plans the charter presentation. There's a charter party. That's always the best part. Now, there's also lots of opportunity here, as we mentioned before, to practice and pull out marketing skills, because getting a rich and good promotion out there about the new club is vitally important to ensure the club is successful going forward. So making sure there's a really strong base there. Now there are a few different types of clubs that could be set up, and this is something that the sponsor will work with the new club team at the beginning of the start of the club. Now there are 4 different types. There's a corporate club, a community club, an advanced club, and a specialty club. The corporate club is where it is you must belong to a corporation or an organization to be a member of that club, and you're perhaps sponsored by that corporation. So that's one type of club. A community club is where it's open to anybody. Anybody is able to participate, and it's open to anyone. An advanced club may have some membership restrictions, and in some cases, some of the advanced clubs, you will have to have, say, completed your first 10 speeches in your competent communication manual. So that's an example of an advanced club. And there's also specialty clubs where there might be a group of people who are focusing the club on a special topic. For example, right now we're establishing a new sales and marketing club in Calgary, and the interest or the topics or the people that would be interested in joining that would be interested in sales and marketing. So that's another example of types of club. Now there are some important considerations while we're setting up the club. Money does matter. Before conducting a demonstration meeting, whether it's a potential corporate or a community club, planning how to handle any money collected from the prospective members. A sponsor or one of the new club's officers may begin to collect the payment for dues and fees from the prospective members during or soon after the first club's meetings, and many clubs choose to open a checking account at this time. And for a corporate club, if the management will be covering the club expenses, the club will need to handle that internally. And there are many different options there related to collecting money. And collecting money from the prospective members and getting the charter fee together. So there is a $125 charter fee, US dollars, that needs to be submitted. So how does that money get collected? Those are some important information or decisions that need to be made early on. having that demonstration meeting. We'll go into a demonstration in a little bit, a demonstration meeting, and how to feed the enthusiasm. So you got a bunch of potential club members there. How do you keep them enthusiastic and engaged in the process? So moving on to the demonstration meeting. There is a lot of information on Toastmasters International and through our resources and experts on how to conduct an effective demonstration meeting. Sorry, I'm getting some feedback on the line. If you are online and you're, if I ask if you could mute your microphone, if you're participating on the phone, you can use *6 to mute your line. And when we have an opportunity, or if you have questions, you can unmute by hitting *6 again. So just make sure that you are muted right now. All right, so as I mentioned, there's lots of information on how to conduct a demonstration meeting. This is an opportunity to show prospective Toastmasters meetings, Toastmaster members, how a Toastmasters meeting is conducted and what the Toastmasters program can do for them. And if it's an engaging, exciting, well-run meeting, there's lots of opportunity to engage and entice people. A typical demonstration meeting could be run with as few as 5 Toastmaster members or 5 to 8 Toastmaster members. Some of the key roles that you want to make sure that are filled is a Toastmaster, somebody to chair the meeting, a table topics master, having a speaker, perhaps they would talk about their experiences or the benefits of Toastmasters as an example. An evaluator, speech evaluator, to show how that feedback works in a Toastmasters meeting, and of course a timer. And if you're not able to get the minimum number of Toastmasters to help with the demonstration meeting, there are lots of opportunities to double up on some of those rules. And always encourage potential members to step up as a table topics participant. That's a great opportunity. Those who step up first are usually a good prospects for club leadership right off the bat. And of course, marketing, getting a large number of people out, especially to that first demonstration meeting. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get the word out about the demonstration meeting. Even if you're posting information either internally in an organization or externally out into the community, it's a really good idea to have a registration process so that you know ahead of time how many people are potentially have committed to come to that demonstration meeting. If you only have a few people interested, you may even considering up your marketing of the demonstration meeting or rescheduling for another time. If you can get 20 to 30 people at that first demo meeting, committed, signed up to that first demo meeting, you are in a better position to move forward with the club. Now, overcoming any possible barriers, what happens if you can't recruit 8 or more Toastmasters to conduct a demonstration meeting? Then again, as I mentioned before, this is where prospective members can participate and really getting a few people from the Toastmasters community to come out, and we have district support that can help you with that. Now, after the meeting, you complete the best case scenario, you complete the application to organize forum and submit it to World Headquarters with a $125 fee. Get people to sign up right then and there at the demonstration meeting. So make sure that you have some member forms with you. So how does this happen? Does anyone have any thoughts on how we can get people right after the first demonstration meeting, get them to commit to the Toastmasters Club?
So, in our case, basically, we did have our demonstration meeting, but unfortunately, and we did a lot of, promotion prior to the meeting. But unfortunately, during the demonstration meeting, there were just 2 guests, basically. And then, so we had, we had 4 more meetings, and in each of the meeting, at most we had like 4 guests. So I don't know. So now it has been like since September, we are having our meetings every week almost. And I'm not seeing that much progress. So do you think that there's a problem here? Should we stop, or what is the problem? What is the root cause of, not getting enough people to come to our meetings? So the thing is that the first meeting, 2 guests attended. One of them, both of them actually, paid their due. One of them just $20, the other one 100 full due. And the one that he paid $20, he didn't come to any of the subsequent meeting. Just in our Monday, another guest just paid his due, and that's it. We are not getting that much attraction. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. That's definitely a common problem with getting a club started and getting the word out about the club. And I know you're in a newer community, correct, Nazli?
Yeah, exactly. This is new community. When I go outside, I see that still there are some, stores being open, and so basically this is new community, new library. So maybe it's possible that a lot of people, they don't even know there's a library.
So there's lots of unique challenges there. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to address all your concerns today, Nazli, but I know that's an interesting challenge and an interesting market that you guys are trying to spark a new Toastmasters Club in. And we'll be having another session. I think it is, Shadna, is that
tomorrow? It's tomorrow.
Yeah, to talk about some of the challenges and struggles. And we'll have some people there that will be able to provide some guidance and suggestions on that. So come back tomorrow and we'll talk a little bit more about challenges and successes. But you do lead to you do lead to a really interesting point that we wanted to talk about is after we have the demo meeting, is keeping the enthusiasm up in the club for those members until they are able to charter. So as Nazli was saying, somebody had paid but didn't end up coming. So it is a bit of a challenge to keep that interest and enthusiasm for the club until it's ready to charter. So how do you keep the prospective members' interest and enthusiasm? I don't know if Nazli, if you have any ideas on how you've been engaging some of the guests.
Yeah, so basically we started from this first meeting. We asked those who are interested to do their, icebreaker speech, or if they want to take any roles. And then even during the table topic, we invited to come and participate. And so basically we need to have a quality meeting, right? I mean, we need to make sure that we are providing value for the members. And for every session, every meeting that we had, so far we have 1 educational session, and usually I invite an experienced Toastmaster member to come and do educational speech, because I think that is very valuable. And I see most of the guests who come, they like these sessions, because some of them, they even don't know why they are using, why we have grammarian report, why and Oz is not good, So having those experienced members to come and provide educational speech, I think this is very valuable for the members and guests.
Absolutely. So providing some education and some value to them while they're participating in the meetings, and again, letting them know what this is all about. So those are some great suggestions.
And then even another thing that we started doing also, asking members if they are interested to have a mentor assigned to them. And one of the member, immediately I assign a mentor, so that basically that person can guide her.
Absolutely. So that's, that kind of leads into our next point on focusing on the future. So starting to act just like a Toastmasters club and getting people participating in the program right away and assigning those mentors so that's a fantastic idea so that they are supported and we are continuing forward as a club. So making sure that we're announcing the next day and time of the meeting and getting our club officers already selected. Who are those people that are stepping up and interested in the leadership and willing to learn about those roles and following up with reminder notices. So next is completing the charter. Once we've reached the 20 members, then the sponsor completes the charter application forms and submits the new member fees and dues to World Headquarters. And there are details about the charter process and the paperwork. There is a bit of paperwork, and that can be found in the How to Build a Toastmasters Club manual available through Toastmasters International. And we'll be sending out a link to everybody afterwards as well, so you can take a look at what that looks like. And the charter presentation and party. The last thing is making that debut of a new Toastmasters club and publicizing that not only out into the general public but also to our Toastmasters community here in District 42, inviting the district leaders, the division or area director, and making it a big deal. We get really excited when new clubs form, and we like making that, well, we like to celebrate a lot of, so that is definitely our opportunity to do that. Now, as a club sponsor, you're not alone. There is lots of support here at District 42. You do work with, we do assign 2 sponsors per club, so you're never alone. You're always working with another sponsor. And this is a good opportunity if you have club mates that are interested in this opportunity too, to work together on that. The District 42 has the club growth team. We have the new club growth officer, Abraham George, and our marketing officer, Marvin Henry, who is on the line. Marvin, do you want to give a brief overview of what are some of the resources or help that you can assist club sponsors with?
I like running around doing stuff. No, actually, I got a lot of PR forums for posters and pamphlets and brochures to give to sponsors and mentors to help promote their club. I can also bring a large display banner to the demo meeting, and I can also invite other Toastmasters and myself and Nandini can also come by and help out at the meetings. So there's also give advice on promoting through social media, through Facebook, through Meetup or Twitter, and other avenues like that, and any other possibilities of promoting a club.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Marvin. We definitely have a lot of other experienced Toastmasters around the district. As Marvin mentioned, he is able is well connected and able to find volunteers. And you also the sponsors also transition or work together with 2 club mentors. And Shadna Rana, our club sponsor mentor coach officer, is going to move into club mentors, what that role is. Go ahead, Shadna.
Thank you, Catherine. Good evening, everybody. I'll be describing the club mentor role. So first off, we all know what a club mentor is. We know it because it's basically a mentor. We have mentors that mentor individual people, like share their knowledge, expertise with individuals. But at the club level, you have the ability to share your experiences and your knowledge with multiple people. You basically act as an advisor and a tutor to new clubs, particularly their executives, to provide them with the ability to become successful as they carry on their journey in Toastmasters. So there are many, many benefits to a club to have 2 or so mentors in their club, but what are the benefits to the mentor? There are several. For example, you get an opportunity to share your experience. So based on the wealth of experience you've had over your time as a Toastmaster, you may be able to help these clubs or these new clubs be able to develop. You develop capacity to translate value and strategies into productive actions. So you have these ideas in your mind. You have an opportunity to translate those ideas and see action taken based on those ideas. You prove yourself as a valuable leader. So you're not only helping to form a team and to be a team player, but you're also leading a team so that they become successful after you leave that club. And you have an opportunity to apply your leadership skills in new situations, like whether or not you do this at work or you don't do this at work or you do it in your private life. This is a completely different opportunity because you're working with a completely different set of people. And lastly, for most people, the reason why they take on a mentorship, a sponsorship, or even a coaching position at Toastmasters is to earn a credit towards their Advanced Leader Silver Award. So those are some of the benefits for mentors. So in terms of appointing mentors, so basically the information we've got here is what Toastmaster provides, but at the district level, what we've been trying to do is use our club growth team. So our club growth team is led by Dunstan Taylor, and part of my role as your club coach, mentor, sponsor, officer is really to help find club mentors. And so whether or not you contact me and tell me you're interested, or somebody else tells me they're interested, or we put out an advertisement and you contact us, what my role is basically to do is to actually touch base with you, do sort of an interview process and give you a bit of information about the role. And what I typically collect is information about your availability. Like first off, I kind of find out why you want to take on the role, and also find out what your experiences are. And it would be really, really nice if our mentors have club officer experiences, because typically we'd like to have somebody who could speak to VP PR or membership position or even a president's position in these clubs. And so what we ask is you to provide your availability, and what we've been trying to do is to place you in a new club. Mind you, we don't have that many new clubs, so there's not that many club mentor and sponsor opportunities out there, but definitely that is our process that we're following. And once that's the case and we establish that you're a club mentor, what ends up happening is that you end up being appointed because you're part of that application to organize form, or what ends up happening is the club growth director will submit your name using the email to Toastmasters World Headquarters within 60 days of the charter date. And then lastly, to complete or to be able to earn your credit, once your at least 6 months of service has elapsed as a mentor, you end up earning your credit. Any questions about the appointment process? Nope.
Yeah, I got a question.
Sure.
So you got 60 days to get that application in. So that means you can't get a mentor after 2 months then? If you're missing a mentor?
From what Toastmaster International is saying, it's no later than 60 days from the charter date. So I'm not sure if there are exceptions to the rule. I'm not sure if Catherine can speak to that. Catherine, do you know anything about
that? Sorry about that. I'm not 100% sure. Again, it's 60 days from the charter date. So this is after the sponsors have set up and the new club is running. So we would very much appreciate having mentors definitely by the time that they're chartered, or even a little bit before, to make sure that the club can be successful. If they're on their own for a couple months, then that might be a risky situation. So we'd like to get mentors assigned as soon as possible.
Actually, Marvin, sorry, go ahead.
So in our case, we have mentors assigned right away. I mean,
oh yeah, you have 2 mentors assigned right away.
Yeah.
So that's.
What are their responsibilities then?
Okay, so we're going to move into that shortly, but just to state that they're not officially mentors until the club is chartered. Like it's from the time you guys are chartered. And so they're volunteering their time right now, which is what we encourage them to do. And we're going to speak to that in a few slides over. But good point. You do currently have 2 mentors assigned, but they're not receiving credit. Their credit will start at the moment that the club is chartered. But going back to Marvin's point, and I remember a situation earlier this year when we had a club that had a mentor, and I forget what club it was. The mentor had to step down, and we replaced the mentor. And so I believe John Barrow actually contacted World Headquarters and was able to get a mentor for that club, and that was beyond the 60 days because somebody had to step down. So I think that there are exceptions to the rule based on that experience or that episode earlier this year. So I don't think that this is this is the best case scenario, because I'm pretty sure there's exceptions to the rule because there was one case earlier this year.
One more question, Shanda.
Mm-hmm.
About, I've seen where the sponsor person is doing 2 roles, sponsor and mentor. Can a person get credit for both roles?
I don't believe so, but Catherine, can you speak to that?
I'm not 100% sure about that. I would have to check with Toastmasters International on that. Is that situation coming up now, or do you?
No, I don't think so, but it's not.
Can I come into that, please?
Sure. Downstairs?
Yes.
Okay.
It cannot be. It was a question that I'd asked. We have to have, and that was why I was trying to see whether we can have just 2 mentors and then 2 sponsors. You cannot carry 2 hats at the same time.
Okay.
I think
But then
that's
they could
How about a sponsor and
Sorry, go ahead, Nasli.
So how about a sponsor and coach? Can one person take both roles or just one?
No.
Is it just a case
That's
for
what I'm
mentors?
saying. You cannot do both. That's why I'm saying you cannot
Sorry?
do both. You cannot do
So
both.
coach also? Okay.
Can I jump in a little bit here?
Sure.
I think in Toastmasters in general, you are not encouraged to double dip. For example, when you are at a meeting and then you take on the grammarian role or the counter role, you cannot take credit for both, for 2 of those. You only take credit for 1 of them. So I think that would be the general rule of thumb.
Okay.
And that is the main. That's the main reason why I'm saying it will not happen, because I've seen somebody who wanted to switch from being a mentor to a sponsor and everything, and their time have not finished yet, and that was when I'd asked that question and everything. So no, you cannot wear those 2 hats at the same time.
Yeah, but I understand that, a sponsor and mentor is a little bit different, but how about sponsor and club coach?
No, you
Coaching and
cannot.
mentoring the same club.
It won't be the same club then.
It's 2 different roles. It's 2 different roles. Mentors have a different role. Coach have a different role.
Yeah. So Nasli, you have to have 2 different clubs then, right? So I guess if you have 2 different clubs,
Yeah.
you're coaching one
Yes,
club
you can.
against another club. I can't see that being a problem, but it'd be a lot of work.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
that scenario is different. I'm thinking you're talking about the same club.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about same club. I'm talking in general.
Okay, I thought you were talking about like one club. Let me say club A. You are the coach and you are the mentor for that club. You can be a coach in one and mentor in another one, provided we do not have enough people and you wanting to help and you wanting to satisfy. But I would love to give other people chances to let other people learn and grow. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're talking of 2 different clubs, you're a coach in one and you're a mentor in another one, that's a different story. But if it's the same club, no, yeah. But it's nice to give other opportunities so they can grow.
Actually,
perfect.
would
Thank
you
you.
ever get into that kind of situation though? Because whenever a club is being mentored, that means it's a new club. It doesn't need a coach yet. right? That means it
Yeah.
has at least 20 members. So there can never be a situation whereby a club is being mentored and coached at the same time. Am I right?
Yeah, but the problem is if somebody is a mentor for a new club and then they're coaching an existing club, that can happen.
Yeah,
A different
but it can never
club.
be the same club.
What's that?
But it can never be the same club because the club that just got sponsored, that just got chartered, wouldn't need a coach until maybe like a year or two later, right? But the mentor is a mentor for 6 months, and during that time, that club has 20 members. It doesn't qualify to be coached, right?
Yeah, you're correct. You're actually correct. There's never that opportunity.
I think it makes sense. Okay.
Okay, are we good?
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
this slide actually speaks to Naslie's question about when the mentor comes in, because currently with Sage Hill Prospective Club, they have 2 mentors that are in there. They're not receiving credit for it now because the club hasn't chartered. So here's the thing is that there's a transition between the club sponsor and the club mentors. So the sponsors transition the responsibilities of support and development of the new club to the mentors. So it's really important actually that the mentors get involved before the club gets charter. And it's really, really essential in a way that they participate in the demonstration meeting, because normally that demonstration meeting is super important, and that's where you can, if you're lucky enough to get a lot of your members recruited at that point, and also attending pre-charter meetings leading up to the charter, because that charter date, just simply because it's really good for the mentor to really understand how the club is being formed and to understand the membership, so they become effective mentors during their 6 months to 1 year as a mentor for that club. Is there any questions about working with the club sponsor? Okay. So sharing knowledge. So one of the main responsibilities of a club mentor is to share their knowledge. And most of you probably have seen this quote: give a man a fish and you will feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So you'll probably come up with, if you decide to be a club mentor, you'll end up coming or encountering people who are asking you basic questions that you're likely going to be able to answer because you're a Toastmaster. For example, what are the timing rules? How can we have a meeting if the president is absent? How do we keep meetings from getting boring? And I'm sure all of you are like, I know the answer to that. It's because you're experienced Toastmasters, and that's what new clubs need. They need people that have experience to come in and answer these kind of questions. But those aren't the only kind of questions that you may encounter as a club mentor. For example, there are tricky examples, and you could find this in the Toastmaster Handbook on Club Mentorship. We'll send a link to you guys after this meeting. So for example, you could be asked, can an evaluator require a member to repeat a manual project if the member didn't meet all of the project deliverables or objectives? Another question could be, if a speaker wants more time for a manual speech than the objective provides, can he revise the time with the Vice President of Education's approval? Can the Vice President of Education refuse to sign a member's project completion record if the VP Ed believes the member could have performed better? These are more complicated questions, and to be honest with you, all the answers are no, right? And to be able to articulate that requires somebody who has the knowledge. And so club mentors, like prospective club mentors, if that's what you choose that you want to do, would be able to share that kind of knowledge with new clubs. Also, the resources that are available, there's a vast amount of resources available to new clubs and to our membership in general. For example, we have our Toastmaster International website. You could find branding information there. You can find promotional material there. You could find things to promote your club printouts, forms, all sorts of things you can find on the Toastmaster International website. Similarly with the District 42 website. right? There's plenty of information that is district specific and even Toastmaster International specific. For example, how to run a club contest, the importance of mentorship, sponsorship, and coaching, and resources like other contact information for people that could support you within the district. So this kind of information needs to be shared by mentors to these new club members so that they understand when the mentor leaves, these are where their resources lie. Official duties of the club mentor include providing insight to these club members, having them truly understand what the value of the Toastmaster Club is. You provide insight about how officers' actions or inactions affect every member and the club as a whole. For example, what is the consequences of not submitting membership applications on time, or not even submitting the application or dues? And what happens if a new member doesn't receive a new member kit? A mentor is able to provide that level of knowledge to the new club. Club's choice. So for example, being a mentor means you're part of a team. So helping them make decisions on what works for them. For example, what kind of ceremonies will a club have? Invocation, reciting the pledge to a flag, or providing best of meeting awards. I know some people have windbag awards for people who go over time when they give speeches. Or we have an jar, so every time somebody them understand that there's things that they can make that's traditional or a tradition for their club. Quality club meetings, probably deliver a moments of truth speech. Explain to them what the moments of truth are and how they should live by it. Building and maintaining membership. So this involves educating our VP membership of this new club, telling them that there's membership building contests out there, and we know that there's multiple out there and newer clubs may not know. Very, very important for them to understand. For example, we have the Smithly Award, Talk Up Toastmasters, Beat the Clock. Promotional strategies, encourage new clubs to create a club website or a Facebook page. It helps attract new members and it helps the club more efficiently, especially if they're using something like Free Toast or Speak Easy, so that they're able to put their agenda online and have people sign up automatically. And then also educating the new club on the Toastmaster education program, particularly beyond CC and CL, because CC and CL is pretty easy to understand because you've got 10 projects for your CC in the manual. But beyond that, it's very important that these clubs really fully understand what the educational program entails. Making sure that the clubs understand that they need to recognize their existing members. Membership retention is essential to keeping a club healthy, and so understanding that they should figure out what best ceremonies or what they need to do to make sure that their club members feel appreciated. And also Distinguished Club Program. Let them fully understand or educate them on what the Distinguished Club Program is and how it helps them to keep track and focus on providing the best service possible to the members. Also bringing awareness to the fact that there's a club success plan, having them work through a club success plan almost at the beginning of inception would be essential for them to really understand what their goals are for that year. So we get to the point that we're talking about you're not alone. So for just like with our sponsors, we have mentors that have support teams too. So obviously we try to pair up a mentor with another mentor, so 2 mentors can earn credit towards their ALS for a club. We also have Marvin. Marvin's awesome because he's part of our club growth team and he's our marketing officer. So the mentor can actually rely on Marvin to provide insight and information on how to promote their club in the community. Because to be honest with you, being a mentor doesn't only mean that you're just going to help the club understand what their role is in Toastmaster, but to really understand how to market themselves, right? Because being able to recruit people on a consistent basis keeps that club healthy, brings in new members, new ideas, fresh faces, really helps people to stay on their toes. So it's really important that membership building is something that we consistently strive to do to keep a club healthy. And as with sponsors, we have other experienced Toastmasters that you can rely on. And lastly, I put a star beside the 2 sponsors because during that transition phase, mentors can really rely on sponsors to provide insight as to what they think will or will not work with the club, because they've worked with some of these prospective members quite closely from the beginning of when they were trying to be chartered. So really, really important for mentors to understand that they do have a support team that they can rely on, not only at a membership level, but also at the district level. Any questions about mentorship?
Shanna,
Yes?
your name's out there.
I'm the one who assigns, but then I'm supposed to be like walking away.
Oh, okay.
But I don't really walk away. Is that my role, Dunstan? Am I supposed to kind of assign and then make sure everything goes well and then leave Marvin to do the work? No? No, Dunstan?
I would hope
I
that
agree with you, Shadna.
Actually, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm happy to help. Like Nasli, I'm happy to help your team too.
Yeah, I would hope that you'd be able to help train or give advice to the sponsors and mentors as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am involved. Okay, so we're running out of time. We started a little bit late, so if you guys don't mind, we just need a few more minutes to cover club coaching, because to me, this is the one thing that we're really hurting for. I know that there's prospective club coaches out there. I've not neglected any of you if you're on the line. I know you're looking to be placed. One of our issues is that the clubs that have requested help so far, a lot of them, they have odd hours and they don't seem to mesh with the ones that we have in the list that want to be club coaches. And so we know that there's other clubs out there that need help. And so what we're going to do is we're going to evaluate the other clubs to see where they're at and make sure that they get club coaches, even if they haven't asked us for club coaches. And so if you're looking to be a club coach and you've already contacted us, me in particular, please rest assured that I'm looking for a placement for you. So with the club coaches, I have to tell you, this is one of the roles that I wish we'd have more people wanting to sign up for, just simply because we have so few newer clubs. But we have so many clubs that are requiring a club coach. We have struggling clubs, and we really, really need folks to stand up and say that they're willing to take on this role. It's, to be honest with you, out of the three roles, I find it to be the most challenging, just simply because you're acting as a doctor. So basically what you're supposed to go in and do is basically assess the situation. And often when you're entering a club, it's not a good situation. They're struggling, they're on the brink of folding. You may go in there and there may be a lot of turmoil in the club, and your responsibility is to really assess the situation at the beginning and see if there are any treatment options. Luckily, you're not alone, and that's one thing that's reoccurring in this presentation, is that you're not alone. There are a support team available for you to help you through this process. So in addition to you supporting that club, we support you. So the point is that you go in there and you help diagnose what the issue is, and you provide tools to the club to be able to treat themselves and to be able to grow. As a club coach, what your responsibilities are is to build a rapport with the club leaders and the members. You don't go in there guns blazing saying this is the law and this is what you want imposed on them. You really need to work within that club and make sure that they're comfortable with you and they have an understanding that you're there to help and support them, right? Not to dictate to them what they need to do. You help the club develop a plan of action, and you help them achieve their goals, and you instill enthusiasm, because a lot of these clubs, they end up with low morale when they're about to fold. And your job, as hard as it may be, is to try to instill some level of enthusiasm so that they see that there's a future for their club. It's a big job, but there's so many benefits. And because we don't have time, I'm not going to ask you what you think the benefits are. I'm just going to tell you. So basically, develop team building skills is hugely beneficial. If you're in a role right now where you're kind of isolated, this is a great role for you to take on, because you really learn how to develop that team mentality, because you're working with a group of people trying to bring them from the rubble into the sunlight. You expand your leadership experience, right? You definitely are a leader in this role. You also help to be a facilitator and a negotiator, which is very unique to all the leadership roles. Compared to sponsorship and mentorship, this is a unique, two unique qualities that you would have with a coaching experience. Develop diplomacy skills, obviously, and to share your expertise so that they become a fruitful club. And also you're investing in the future of Toastmasters because you're making sure you're trying your best to save that club. And lastly, of course, you earn credit towards your ALS award. So in terms of your qualifications, compared to the other ones, there are more specific qualifications for club coaches. So one key qualification is that you're not a member of the struggling club and you're not familiar with that club or its members. That's super important. The reason why that is because we don't want you going in there with any biases. We want you to go into a club and have a fresh look at this club. We don't want you to have any preconceived notions about how this club is run, who these people are. We want you to go in there with fresh eyes and diagnose their situation, their issues, and help them work towards remedying anything that's causing them not to work or function well. So it's very, very key that we try and get people that are independent or not fully associated with any of the members, and also making sure that they're not currently a member of that club. Mind you, if you decide you want to be a member of that club, just make sure that you wait until your appointment is official with Toastmaster International before you become a member of the club. Like, you're not stopped from being a member after you're appointed. Just don't become a member before you're appointed. Then it disqualifies you. The other thing key to keep in mind is the fact that the club has to have 12 or less members to be qualified to receive a club coach. And also another thing to keep in mind, which is much more difficult, it makes it harder for you to achieve, is the fact that the credit is only earned once the club becomes distinguished. And so you would, like, say you started to be a club coach right now, you'd have to stay until at least the end of June to be able to fulfill the requirement, provided that the club becomes distinguished by the end of June. Is that clear? Any questions about that requirement?
Shadna, can I add one more thing, please?
Sure.
One of the things I just want to ask kindly is when you go to try to find out the problem of a club or the situation of a club, try to be an ally or try to be a partner. If you try to be an ally or a partner, they will work with you. But as Shadna say, if you come in blazing, they're not going to be open to entertain you. So I am asking this because I find out people who come in and says, how can I help? What can I do? And they see you as a partner, they see you as an ally, things work out well. Because you have to remember, most of these people have been trying hard and working hard for their club. But if you come in as knowing it all, it's not going to work. And lastly, remember, when you diagnose a problem, talk with your area director, your division director, your club growth team member, and see how you can help. Let us be aware of certain situations. And this is why I like the word Shadna is using, you're not alone. Talk to your area director, talk to your division director, talk to your club growth team. Thanks.
Thank you. So thriving or struggling. So obviously we don't have time to answer questions, but basically, why do some clubs thrive and some of them really struggle? So there are multiple reasons why this may happen, and often the differences lie in the fact that there might be issues with the club climate. It could be conditions that are affecting operations, membership, or attitudes, right? Like if you have, unfortunately, a bad seed in the group that brings negativity to the group, you end up having a poor climate. Also, people who like to take on all of the responsibility and not share responsibility, people that are not team players, can impact club climate. Also, club meeting times, unfortunately, sometimes a day of the week or the time of the day doesn't work. Sometimes a club's location sometimes is not easily accessible. Sometimes parking is an issue, safety is an issue. And so there's multiple reasons why a club may be struggling, just to keep in mind. So in terms of a club coach's responsibility, first and foremost, making a club connection, making sure you connect with the members in the club and that there's no backlash towards you. Like when you enter that club, they should not feel like you're trying to take over their club or that you've been sent from district to watch what they're doing. They really need to understand that, as Dunstan said, that you're supportive, that you're not there to take over their club, that you're there to provide support and help them through this struggling period. Also, status check. Have the club be aware of what their climate is. Have them acknowledge the fact that there's an issue, right? Work with them to understand or have them evaluate what the climate is in their club. Because often a club knows exactly what's going wrong in their club and they really are looking for outsiders to help them find a way objectively on how to resolve their issues. And that's where you come in. You provide that support and advice. I guarantee you that they'd be happy to have you. Club meetings. Look at how they're conducting their club meetings. Teach the club how to plan and produce club meetings or productive club meetings if they aren't already doing it. But this requires that you observe how they're running their clubs. Don't assess them, just go in there and observe, and then you'll notice whether or not they're running a quality club meeting. Membership building. Essential. Assist with developing promotional strategies, coaching the VP membership and the VP peer on things that they need to do, and also the resources that are available to them to promote their club. Recognize achievements. Sometimes not recognizing members' achievements end up causing retention issues. And so making sure that you help them understand how important it is to recognize the achievements of their current membership. And looking to the future, often it's really, really important to go back to the mission of the club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Have them develop a vision for what they want their club to look like and make sure it aligns with the club's mission. And also share the knowledge, the information that you know about how to use a distinguished club program, and even get them started or restarted on developing their club success plan. Even if they're starting from scratch, get them to start doing that because it's a really, really motivating factor for a lot of clubs just to rebuild. So lastly, I just wanted to say that, as a recurring theme is you are not alone. You have a support team here. Typically, we want to assign 2 club coaches, but unfortunately what's happening is we are having issues assigning even 1 club coach to some of these clubs. And so what the plan is that we will go around and assign as many coaches, 1 coach to a club that's struggling, and then we'll, if we're lucky, circle back and assign another club coach. But in the interim, what we want you to know is that if you choose to be a club coach, you've got extra support. We've got our club growth team that's headed by Dunstan. And on that team that can help you, we've got our emergency rescue officer, Nandini, and that she will help myself assess the situation and work with the club coach if needed to help with finding out resolutions for the issues. The other thing is obviously we have our marketing officer, Marvin, who can help with promotion, because if one of the issues or the main issue is the fact that you can't attract new members, Marvin is the person to talk to. He could really help you understand or what you have available in terms of resources to market your club so you build your membership. And also other experienced Toastmasters around you are more than willing to help you out. Like if we can't help you, we know people who can help you. So I really, really encourage you, if you're online and you aren't a club coach yet, and you haven't contacted us, please let us know that you want to be a club coach, and we'll definitely try our best to place you as soon as we can. So with that, I'm going to just pass it on to Catherine to conclude this session, and thank you guys for staying online.
Thank you so much, Shadna. And just in summary, Toastmasters International is an opportunity for us to develop our leadership and communication skills. And all 3 of these opportunities, whether it's building a new club as a club sponsor, as a club mentor, or helping another club build and rebuild and grow as a club coach, you have an opportunity to develop your skills. All 3 positions help you develop leadership skills, help you develop project management skills, whether it is developing a marketing plan for a club sponsor, as a club sponsor, or a marketing plan for a club coach. There's lots of opportunities there to develop your project management skills. There's lots of opportunities to develop your marketing skills in each of those 3 positions, as well as team building, working with the club executive and the club members and developing a cohesive team that works together. Facilitating is another skill that you have an opportunity to develop in any of these roles. The club coach, as Shadna had mentioned while talking about the club coach role, it has a little more opportunity to work with negotiation and diplomacy, and the club mentors and coaches are really there to provide some coaching support. So watching how the club runs and providing some feedback on where they could improve or what's going well. And all 3 positions also have an opportunity to develop your teaching skill. So whatever that is for you, if any of these positions one appeals to you more than others, I strongly urge you to take full advantage of the skill development, whether it is something that is in your wheelhouse or something that you want to develop, and choose which position that you are interested in. And in a nutshell, to summarize, the sponsors and mentors develop the new clubs as sponsor follow-ups or creates potentially leads for new clubs, helps charter a club, generates interest and enthusiasm for the new club, recruits members, submits paperwork with the help from the district, and plans the celebration charter party. The mentor then takes over and ensures the club is strong and fully functioning, confirms the club officers understand their duties and have the tools that they need to perform them. And for our struggling clubs, again, which is 12 or fewer members at the time of the appointment, it is an opportunity to build rapport with the club, as Dunstan mentioned, getting in there and becoming an ally with them, help the club develop their goals, enable the club to achieve their goals, and instill enthusiasm, fidelity, and a sense of responsibility. Those are the 3 roles that we've gone over today, and I hope you've gotten a wealth of information. And again, you are not alone. There is a lot of support. We are going to conclude the presentation portion of this, but there's going to be a lot of opportunity. We're going to stay on for another 15 minutes or so to answer any questions that you might have about any 3 of these roles. But on behalf of District 42, our District Director, John Bauer, and our Club Growth Director, Dunstan Taylor, who, thank you very much, Dunstan, for being on the line, and myself, Catherine, Program Quality Director, we would very much appreciate and like to thank Shadna for providing this presentation, this opportunity for us to get together and learn more about these opportunities in Toastmasters for leadership skills. So thank you very much, Shadna, for all your work and preparation for this evening's presentation. And I would like to thank everybody who participated here tonight, our friends from District 99 and our fellow Toastmasters across District 42. Thanks so much for joining us. This presentation will be posted on our website shortly after this presentation is done. Now I open up the floor to questions. If anyone has additional questions related to the role, or if you do have to leave us, thank you for joining us and good night. And I'll open the floor to discussion. Who has any questions?
Actually, Catherine, before we close, can we plug for the webinars tomorrow and Wednesday, next week, Wednesday?
Perfect. Go ahead, Shadna.
Oh, so folks, for those of you still online, please, feel free to attend tomorrow's webinar. It's going to be for current mentors and sponsors, and what we're covering is basically what works and what doesn't work. We're going to do a refresher for mentors and sponsors and also get some feedback from our mentors and sponsors. So if you're considering a mentorship or sponsorship role, please consider attending that webinar tomorrow, because you may get some insight so that it would make you successful in the role that you hold in the future. And similarly for club coaches, we're holding a webinar for current club coaches next week, Wednesday, October 25th at the same time. And so if you're interested in a coaching position, it's really worthwhile attending. Just simply, we're hoping to get as many of our current club coaches online as possible to really provide them with a refresher and also to reiterate what our support mechanism is for them. And lastly, to get their feedback. What has been working, what hasn't been working. So if you are deciding or you've decided that you want to be a club coach, that would be a really, really good conversation to join, just simply to hear what our current club coaches are experiencing so that hopefully you'll get some insight when you take on that role. Thanks.
Thanks, Shadna.
Hi, Shadna and team. I just want to thank you, Shadna, for an awesome job. Thank you, Kathleen, for partnering with Shadna on this. It's very important we do this. For the rest of the thing, thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your sacrifice. Again, Shadna, thank you so much for an awesome job. Thank you for planning this. And
Awesome. Thanks, Duncan. All right. Does anyone have any questions for Shadna or anyone else on the line?
I got a question.
Go ahead, Marvin.
Okay, Marvin.
It's come up a few times. The club doesn't charter people, but guests and members are paid into the club. Can they get the money back?
no.
Okay.
Thank you, District 42 for having me. I have to leave. Again, it was an awesome webinar. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robo.
Okay, bye.
Another question I have is how soon can you pay the 25?
Sorry?
Can you say that again?
How soon can you pay the $125 for a club?
I cannot hear you properly.
Okay, how soon can you pay the $125 to charter a club?
As soon as possible, or if you have in my experience, I kind of do that when I had up to 15 members when I was creating and forming Cranston. As soon as I had 15 members, I sent the money in. And because I was talking to the 15 who had already contributed their money towards it and said we only need 5 more people or 7 more people. And then we end up having 10 after that because they were already invested into it. They had paid the money. And so they went out to sell it and then they brought more people in. So it was not just leaving it to me. I leave the responsibility to them and say, hey, it's your club. You already invest. You already paid the money. Bring more people and let's charter it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
For corporate clubs, we've seen people submit. We've seen corporations submit right away as soon as they've expressed interest. $125 application fee is nothing. Is not a great deal of money for corporations.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Who do we still have on the line?
I think it's Jocelyn still here?
Jocelyn?
Yeah.
Is Jocelyn still online?
Yes, I am.
Jocelyn, do you have any questions about coaching?
Well, that's probably the one I'm most interested in. I just and I know I've talked about it and I haven't made a commitment.
Mhm.
For me, the issue is distance, right?
Yes.
Whenever I go into Calgary, I'm looking even for a far south club 3/4 of an hour travel time each way.
So Jocelyn, what are the closest clubs for you?
The closest clubs for me, Okotoks is close.
Mm-hmm.
High River, of course, but I'm a member and past president.
Right.
Cranston is close, so I've been going there and doing educationals quite regularly, and they're not in any trouble anyways. They're just rolling in the members. And I don't know what else is close. Flora and MVP, but they're both fine.
Okay.
Jocelyn, if I could chime there, I had been connecting people to the Okotoks club. You may be able to coach that club because I've been connecting to that club. My past division director connected me to an eager beaver who is in the club, so the club do not fold. And I have been touching base with them, giving them marketing materials. And so they're going to be needing a coach by the looks of things. Because
Okotoks would work for me.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of experience with them as well because I've done a couple speeches there too.
Awesome. Please just talk to Shadna. Just talk to Shadna, put your name on the list. And then because I had even hooked up the president, and they had a new president that the president just joined within 4 weeks, and she says, I want to be part of the executive because nobody want to be president, and she took the job. So I have involved Christina Cruz and the area director, and the area director Lisa to coach the president because she's new and everything. So Christina and Lisa is doing that. So I can hook you up with them, but talk to Shadna first, go through the process. We submit your paper, and it will be nice because they are really, really trying. The team that just arrived, they're really trying, and I've attended their executive meeting, and they're making efforts.
Right. Yeah, and honestly, I think that's probably where I'm particularly helpful is on the executive side.
Okay.
With the background I have from High River, right? Okay.
So one thing we're going to have to check there, so Big Rock is not in a position, or just, so they are just now at 12 members as of today. So just that's where they're sitting today.
12
members.
members.
I'm actually dropping by there tomorrow anyways because they're doing the Circle of Gold tomorrow.
Good opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks, Jocelyn. So do we have any other questions? Anybody else on the line? Crickets?
Actually, I got a question, Shana.
Okay, Marvin.
Can we list these club coaches that are being assigned on our website so we know who are being assigned?
Yeah, we could certainly do that. Like, we could also, it's on the Toastmaster dashboard, but I don't think most people even know that exists. So we could definitely list it. I mean, Catherine Dunstan and John would be able to tell us where they want to put it. Where would you like to put the list? On the resources page?
What were you hoping to get from that? Yeah.
Yeah, Marvin, what were you hoping?
Well, I guess to see who the heroes are, I guess. So
that's true. Yeah.
And then people see these people, and then they'll say, "Oh, I want to be like him. I want to be like her. So let's be a coach." That type thing, I guess.
Why don't we do member spotlight page then?
Yeah, I can, that's more like it. Yeah, maybe have them talk about the club first, and then have these people with the names and what they say, what they experience on after a month or so.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Okay, so work with Ryan Ruption, the public relations manager, with if you want to make any adjustments to the website. I know we're using the blog a little bit more this year. I can't just think off the top of my head where would be the best place for that. But yeah, talk to Ryan.
Marvin, I
Okay.
think you made work for yourself.
No, I think that's your job.
My job.
Okay, so I'm gonna